Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the
I68 podcast.
Woo!
Let's go.
Okay, Sam, where have we been?
We've been to a lot of places. First, we had youth camp. Then we took a little break. And then we had kids camp. So we've been pretty busy. We've been busy with a lot of stuff. If you've been to youth camp, you already know what it was like.
But we are back, and we're ready to be on schedule. So can you tell them how often we're going to be posting?
We're going to be posting every other Wednesday. So mark it in your calendars, check YouTube, and you'll see.
Yes. All right. So today we are talking about these little devices, our phones, and our addiction to them. So could we start off with the question, what exactly is addiction, or what is idolatry? How would you explain that?
Okay, so, and in terms of idolatry, I went and looked up the definition. Sorry, just had a little brain fart. On Merriam-Webster, and it says the worship of a physical object as a god. And I think, in like a Christian's point of view, an addiction or idolatry would probably be like taking sin and elevating it to a higher esteem, probably more than, let's say, like God, you know, more than your faith, more than like discipline, and that's kind of like what idolatry would be. It could be like a certain sin, like maybe a sexual sin. It could be, maybe it could be food. It could literally be anything that you elevate more than you care about God and upholding His principles. That's kind of what it is.
Oops. Still in the works of making things go smooth. But I think that's really good. One thing I noticed is in the Old Testament, the idols that they mentioned is more of the statues and carved images. But then in the New Testament, it relates more to now with the idols that we create. And we realize that you can make idols out of literally anything, including our phones. And I think, especially in this age, that is something that a lot of people are starting to become addicted to. And it's relevant not just like in Christians, but there have been several documentaries. Like there's been one called The Social Dilemma.
Oh, I watched that one too.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It was actually really good.
It was eye-opening.
I didn't know like how actually bad it was. It was terrible. Like the way that Facebook and they run, how they like intentionally try to like get you to click on every push notification. It's like crazy. But
no, I think relating to that, when you research about it and you look at these people who created these apps and who created the phones, they've literally been designed by these super smart people in order to get you addicted, because that's how they make money. And they do it so that every single thing on your phone helps you to be more on it, right?
Yeah.
So what are some ways we can recognize addiction to our phones?
Some ways that we could recognize addiction is like, what is your behavior when you're without your phone, right? So, for example, someone might be addicted to their phone per se, and then they kind of like put it away for some time, but then they start getting this like inclination to like go back on their phone to check Instagram, check Snapchat, whatever it is. And they like can't be away from their device for a certain period of time. So there's like a certain behavior that comes with that, where you're just like, oh man, I need this really bad. And like maybe another factor would probably be like decreased socialization, where you're just like, it's kind of hard to talk to people where your focus is like on your device. You're just at Applebee's, let's say. We go to Applebee's and you're just checking Instagram when there's like literally like people. 7 people around you. There's so many people you could talk to, but instead you choose to go on your phone. Like for me personally, when I go to Applebee's with everyone afterwards, that's a problem I have. And it's like sometimes I wish I could work on that. That's one like way you could figure out addiction, and like and also just the amount of time you spend. Where maybe it's like up to 7, 10 hours, 11 hours.
No, check your screen time right now.
Like, do you want to check our screen time right now?
Okay. We'll expose ourselves.
I'll do it just because to prove a point.
See.
Maybe we could like go up to the camera and show
Oh,
them.
show them?
Do you want to do that, or is that too much?
I mean, we can. Will it focus?
That's okay.
Then we'll just say
Yeah,
it.
we'll just say it. We'll just say it.
Okay, what is yours? Your daily average?
Okay, my daily right now it says my daily average is 6 hours and 50 minutes.
Okay, for me it says 5 hours and 6 minutes, but it says 12% down from last week. I think because of the kids camp.
kids camp and youth camp.
But that's still a lot. 5 hours is a long time.
Yeah.
5-6 hours a day.
I don't know. For you, that's a lot. For me, that's pretty good.
I know, but I'm saying like if you think it is honestly like I guess that's good when you compare it to everything else, but when you think of the number itself, 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like you can do so much in 5 hours.
That's so true. Yeah. Like and also looking at this, my most used apps are YouTube and Instagram.
Me
and
too. Yeah.
And I think there's a reason why on most people's phones that's like their most popular, or not most popular, their most used app is because there's videos they're like purposely trying to get you to watch it and get more views on it, like YouTube. And then Instagram, every photo is just like keep on scrolling, you know, and see what people are doing.
No, something I've noticed, and I guess kind of what they've showed in the documentaries, is nowadays these apps, they're becoming more and more quick. Like everything is and our mind can no longer focus on things for long periods of time because it's constantly switching. So even right now, a big thing is like TikTok and Reels on Instagram. And even on YouTube, they have like little clips, right?
Yeah,
so right now they're just doing like, they keep making it short so that we look at one thing and then we're moving on to the next. We look at one thing and moving on to the next. And I feel like it's very harmful to our minds.
I think so. There's something about like going from video to video really fast that really messes me up in like a certain way where it's like my attention keeps on focusing, shifting in a shorter amount of time. And that just like trains my brain to think like, this video is too long and it talks for too long. Or maybe I'm watching a sermon on YouTube that it's just like, it's the entire sermon. It's not like cut up.
And it's hard to watch.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh man, I know it's good for me, but like it's so long, you know. Maybe that's the
I think it
issue.
affects us like super negatively and more like it's becoming harder. Even say you're like with somebody at lunch and then they leave to the bathroom. What do?
You go on your phone.
You go on your phone because nowadays we can't sit in silence. We can't just like relax or do nothing. We can't like just look around at the world. Like a lot of times we feel awkward if we don't have our phone on you. And I think that's like a sign of addiction. And it's not something that is rare. It's not like, oh, only some people do that. It's becoming a part of like most people's lives.
Yeah.
So it's scary.
Wait, so
go ahead.
We're going back to the signs. There's one sign that is like a little more serious, and it's like the physical effect, where it's like you're on your phone so much that you just gotta like keep on going back for like a higher dosage, like more and more. And when you go out into public, your brain isn't normal. Like you're a different person almost. And that's kind of like an extreme. Yeah. But that's like an extreme that we have to look out for, especially now that these apps, these phones are getting a lot better at doing what they're meant to be done or used for, utilized.
No, that is true.
Yeah.
So kind of looking at the other side of it, it seems almost impossible to not have a phone these days, right? Because in our generation, it is something so, I don't want to say important, but it's something everyone has. And if you don't have it, I feel like you're missing out almost. What would you say then? What should our balance be with our phones?
I think that, first of all, like the balance is that depending on how much time do we spend with God in comparison to our phone, I think that's one balance that we need to look at is like, are you praying more? Are you worshiping more? Or are you on your phone more than you do spend time with God reading his word possibly? That's like one way of looking at it from a Christian's perspective. Another one would be like, I think also in terms of ministry, like we use these devices in order to strengthen us through like reading the Bible on the Bible app, maybe like watching a sermon, or even for us, like we're uploading this on YouTube and then you guys are watching it on YouTube through your devices. So there's that way that you can use your device in a good way,
True.
in a positive
Plus
way.
communication.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
never before have we been able to communicate with someone
Exactly.
from like the other side of the world.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's good, but I think it's also at the same time dangerous.
Yeah.
Because now, instead of caring just about the people around your life, about what they think, especially if you have social media, you begin to care about like thousands of people,
Yeah,
what they
yeah.
care about. And you always try to hold up a certain image.
Yeah, for balance, like there like you mentioned, like you could use it for calling someone, for texting, even recording videos. Like you could record really good videos on that, and that's all good. But I think also there's like a bad side to everything. Like for example, like social media. I'm going to use social media for an example. Like we can use social media as a church to like get stuff out there, but then also like you can be addicted to like something that you don't really need to watch. That's like a waste of your time.
That's true.
Yeah.
So is it wrong to be on social media every day?
I think it's wrong when it becomes more of a problem in the sense like that's really hard to answer actually. I need to think about that. Well, what would you say?
What do I think?
Yeah, what do you say?
I think it's like a personal conviction.
Yeah.
For some people, it is wrong.
Yeah.
And then for others, maybe not. But I think everyone still really needs to be mindful of it, because even if we are putting 15, 20, 30 minutes of it every single day, it could like easily become an addiction. It's like, how long can we stay without it?
That's true.
And so I think it's something we need to keep in mind. But I think it is more conviction, because I know some people, they had like a conviction, I can't have social media anymore, and they ended up deleting their accounts just because it was too much of a burden for them.
Yeah.
And they knew they get too caught up. Like, I'm gonna share, I guess, a quick story. So I disabled my Instagram account for a year just because I started caring way too much about what people think. I already care way too much about what people think. And so this was like caring about what people think on steroids, because I care. You see the likes, you see the comments, and doing these things makes you want to do it more and more. If you see more likes, you're like, okay, I know that's the right thing to post, and so you start posting that. And so I just got too addicted, and I needed to take a break. And that break was really nice. I did come back.
Yeah.
I don't think it's wrong to have social media, especially when you can use it for good. But even right now, I don't know if I'm using it to the extent that I should,
Yeah.
as in terms of like sharing God's word.
That makes sense. Yeah. I think also, yeah, that's a good point. In my experience too, like, I've noticed at times where I wake up in the morning and that's the first thing I look at, and I'm just like,
true.
man, why am I doing this? I should be doing something that's more productive, like getting out of bed first of all, or like even looking at the Bible, like what am I going to read today? That's something that's more important. If that becomes like the first thing that you look at when you wake up in the morning, that's an issue.
Yeah.
So when I've noticed that go bad in my experience, then I just took off Instagram. I deleted the app for like a couple of days, where I'm stable, my mind is stable, and I'm not thinking about that constantly, and that helped me.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, that was my experience.
One thing I wanted to bring up is, I guess, the science almost behind it. So
Yeah.
I know a lot of people already know about dopamine
Yeah.
and how a lot of different things have like give you it. They release dopamine, and our phones are one thing that do it. One of the creators, a quote he had is like, how do we consume as much of your time as possible?
Yeah.
And when it makes you happy, that's when they can draw you in. So receiving a text feels good, right?
Yeah.
I know sometimes like you check your phone expecting notifications. If you don't have it, you're like a little bummed out. You're like, oh, nobody wants to text me.
Yeah.
And so getting these notifications, the more notifications you have on, the more important you feel. And that's what really can lead to addiction. But something I wanted to quickly skim over is how other things that have dopamine, that release dopamine, are things like gambling, things like smoking, alcohol. All of these things have age restrictions, but social media and our phones, they sometimes do, but not to that same extent.
I want I want to say like it's so bad. They're so bad at like keeping younger kids away from social media.
Yeah.
Like I think we all been at the point where we were younger and then we lied about our age in order to get like an Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
I did that.
Yeah, me too. I
And
got it when
it's
I was
like
9.
exactly.
So
You
bad.
were 9. That's really young. Like
Yeah.
it's so easy to make a social media account
Mm-hmm.
at a really young age, and I think that's really bad. There has
Yeah.
to be something done about that.
But like,
At
what
least.
do we do? Because I feel like everything is happening so fast.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, if you said even 30 years ago, people are going to be addicted to their phones. Everyone's going to have
Oh,
a
yeah.
phone. Like everyone's going to have this much technology. You probably wouldn't believe it.
Yeah,
The
it's
times have
true.
changed like so much, and we're kind of the guinea pigs, not just us,
Yeah.
especially the younger kids,
Mm-hmm.
to social media and to phones, because we don't fully see the effects. We're starting to see them now, but we don't even know the long-term effects of
Yeah,
what this will do.
that's true.
Go ahead.
No, you can.
I was kind of just gonna say like another statistic I found is 1 in 8 kids become addicted to their phone, like truly addicted, and something they see in is something you mentioned before, kind of about real relationships with people.
Yeah.
It is when people are on social media, it's harder for them to form those relationships.
Yeah.
And I've even noticed like with people who are on their phones a lot, texting people, sometimes they'll say, I text this person, but I don't talk to them in real life. And I think that's weird and dangerous.
That is
and
weird.
so, but it's hard. Like, how do you stop it? It's something so consumed by the world.
I mean, like how to stop it? That's really hard to
Another
say.
question, yeah.
In terms of like legislation, maybe like I'll go from that perspective first of all. Is like, well, when we had things like alcohol or cigarettes come about and they were being sold on the market, they at first they didn't have any regulation, and like I think there's like stories of kids buying cigarettes for their parents when they were
yeah.
younger. Back then, like I don't
That's
even know
true.
how long ago that was, but now you have to be 21. And then recently, or not recently, well, kind of 2 years ago, we had like a vaping epidemic type thing, where there's a lot of kids in high school vaping, and people who were 18 in high school, they went and bought vapes for
The younger people?
The younger people, but now it's 21, so the legislation changed in order to compensate for the fact that people are addicted to vapes. So I feel like in the future, when big tech has a lot of power right now, but I think with it's going to become more of an issue for sure. Like I know that, so there's probably going to be some kind of legislation on that. But I think on a different way of looking at like how to stop it is like probably better parenting, to be honest, from in my opinion, because parents can allow devices. They allow the kids the devices. It's like their decision almost. A kid can try pushing for it, but the parent has to be firm in their parenting, so that they don't get it at a younger age.
So when did you get your phone? Just wondering.
I think I got like a phone at around. It might have been 10 actually.
10?
Or even younger.
was
No,
it?
younger.
Oh,
I was
younger?
8. I was 8.
Oh.
I was really young, but it didn't have a lot of like features on it.
It was like a dumbed down phone.
Yeah, it was a
It was
dumbed
just
down
like
phone.
calling and
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So then it progressed. Like I got a really old phone, iPhone, like an iPhone 4 or something, and then I got like the next better phone, and then I was able to do a lot more stuff. So that's
Makes
kind of what
sense.
happened. Yeah.
No, I also got a phone at a young age. I was 9 turning 10, but it was also like a flip phone. People probably don't even know what those are. I'm kidding. But do you think that affected you getting a phone at a young? Because you mentioned that
Oh yeah.
parents probably shouldn't give it so young.
Yeah.
What do you think for yourself? Do you think it affected you?
I think so. Yeah. From at a younger age, games are a big thing. Like
that's
you just like want to like
Play games all the time.
games all the time, especially with your friends, especially when you're with other friends and they have the game and you're like, man, I want to play with them, you know? So that's kind of a factor in it. But if I just learned how to like not have the phone and like try to like figure out what to do, how to have fun without, looking on a screen playing a game for like a couple hours, then it would have been a lot better for me, in my opinion.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, kind of to wrap things up, in order to, I guess, bring it back to good, what are practical ways we can avoid being on our phones? And, like, what are ways we can help ourselves not become addicted?
Okay. So, I have some lines I want to address. Hold on. Okay. Keep on a schedule. So like have a certain amount of time where you're able to look at your phone, or like a certain period of the day where you're allowed to look at your phone.
Oh yeah, I know sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I know some people, they say like an hour before going to bed they don't use their phone. Like they will, there's actually an option where you can do not disturb and you won't be receiving notifications.
Yeah.
So that could be an option for
I
people.
use that a lot. It helps. Turn off as many push notifications. So if you think, okay, let's say like Instagram's a problem, then turn off push notifications for Instagram. If Snapchat's a problem, turn off push notifications for that, and then you could like check it some other time of the day. I think I was watching The Social Dilemma, like the documentary we were talking about. That was like the one thing they mentioned is like the push notifications. They kept on popping up, and the guy was like, "Oh man, I gotta look at it. I gotta look at it."
No, it makes you like want to.
Yeah.
Like almost stressed. Like, I need to check it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one thing, and then taking distracting apps off of your home screen. So I think we before this podcast started, we were talking about how like sometimes we mentally go on our phones and we automatically scroll to the page that has like Instagram, and then we click on that one spot.
Yeah.
But when you delete the app,
it's not there.
Yeah, it's not there. You're just like, oh man, what did I just do? Like, why am I scrolling there? There's nothing there. And then you mentioned this before, is kick your device out of the bed. So don't have it at night. First of all, the light that it emits, it messes with your sleep. And also, you don't need to.
So basically, don't start with it, don't end with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead, start with God and end with God.
There you go. I like that.
Yeah.
And
any other practical ways?
Stay accountable. So maybe if it's a real problem for you and you can't do it yourself, ask someone. Like I know there's an option where you can create a password, and then the only way you can use your phone or certain applications is if the person inputs a password.
If someone else does it?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I've heard of parents doing this.
Yeah.
If you need a parent to do this, do it.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a cool option.
It is a cool option. But yeah, those are just some of the ways you can.
I have one more random one. Okay, maybe it's not a huge deal, but for me, it bothers me. When people need to go to the bathroom and they take their phone, it's like, you don't need your phone.
That's true. I do. I literally take my phone every single time.
Exactly. There are times when I guess it could be dangerous to leave it, but most of the time you don't. Or you could put it in a purse, but you don't need to like take it every time. Or like during service, if you need to go to the bathroom, you don't need to take it unless you need to make a call or something important. But a lot of the times, it's just to do a quick little distraction from what's important from the sermon.
Exactly.
So I think that's like an easy thing to keep in mind, is not to have it, like not take it with you to the bathroom, and not to have it like with you when you're eating with somebody.
Yeah.
I remember Dennis mentioned it one time. It's like when you have your phone, the home screen up.
Yeah.
It's very rude and disrespectful.
Just flip your phone like this.
Flip it, or even put it on your lap.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have the ringer on. And
Yeah,
it vibrates.
that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Any other things?
Yeah, I mean, just to wrap it up, like, obviously there's some good to, like, using phones. Like, there's a lot of good that you could do with it, but you also have to be really careful. Like, just like any other sin that's addictive, like food or whatever it is. Like, anything could really be an idol. But you have to put restrictions on it. You have to have balance. So
yeah, you have to guard your heart.
You have to guard your heart. Exactly. So I think that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
No, that's good.
Thank you guys for watching. Remember, every other Wednesday, and yeah.
Don't be on your phones too much.
Don't be on your phones.
Have good relationships with people, and keep your relationship with God.
Amen.
Oh, there's somebody here. All right, thank you. All right, goodbye.
Peace out.
Scared me.
My man Sash came in.